Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayat Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanaභaya Namo Pankajamalini Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangri. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 26, verses 14 to 25. Wonderful Krishna. Text 14. On the one hand, this boy is only 7 years old, and on the other, we see that he has lifted the great hill Govardhana. Therefore, O king of Raja, a doubt about your son arises within us. Text 15. Nanda Maharaja replied, O cowhead man, just hear my words and let all your doubts concerning my son be gone. Some time ago, Gargamuni spoke to me as follows about this son. Text 16. Gargamuni had said, your son Krishna appears as an incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he assumed three different colors, white, red, and yellow, and now he has appeared in the blackish color. Text 17. For many reasons, this beautiful son of yours sometimes appeared previously as a son of Vasudeva. Therefore, those who are learned sometimes call this child Vasudeva. Text 18. For this son of yours, there are many forms and names according to his transcendental qualities and activities. These are known to me, but people in general do not understand them. Text 19. To increase the transcendental bliss of the cowhead man of Gokula, this child will always act auspiciously for you. By his grace only, you will surpass all difficulties. Text 20. O Nanda Maharaja, as recorded in history, when there was an irregular, incapable government, Indra having been dethroned, and when honest people were being harassed and disturbed by thieves, this child appeared in order to curb the rogues and to protect the people and enable them to flourish. Text 21. Demons cannot harm the demigods, who always have Lord Vishnu on their side. Similarly, any person or group attached to all auspicious Krishna cannot be defeated by enemies. Text 22. Therefore, O Nanda Maharaja, this child of yours is as good as Narayana. In his transcendental qualities, opulence, name, fame, and influence, he is exactly like Narayana. Thus, you should not be astonished by his activities. Text 23. Nanda Maharaja continued, after Gargamuni spoke these words to me and returned home, I began to consider that Krishna, who keeps us free from troubles, is actually an expansion of Lord Narayana. Text 24. Sukadeva Goswami continued, having heard Nanda Maharaja relate the statement of Gargamuni, the residents of Vrindavana became enlivened. Their perplexity was gone, and they worshipped Nanda and Lord Krishna with great respect. Text 25. Indra became angry when his sacrifice was disrupted, and thus he caused rain and hail to fall on Gokula, accompanied by lightning and powerful wind, all of which brought great sufferings to the cowheads, animals, and women there. When Lord Krishna, who is by nature always compassionate, saw the conditions of those who had only him and their shelter, he smiled broadly and lifted Govardhana hill with one hand, just like a small child picks up as a mushroom to play with it. Holding up the hill, he protected the cowhead community. May he, Govinda, the lord of cows and the destroyer of Indra's false pride, be pleased with us. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 26, entitled Wonderful Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhujis and Matajis. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Swami Nigum Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Vamsi Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance, Prabhu. All goes to Sri Prabhupada. Whenever you're ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us the opportunity to study Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll start with Mangala Charan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरे परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशाय नाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Firstly, I would like to offer my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who have assembled so that we can hear from Srimad Bhagavatam and become purified. So, we are continuing chapter 26. The chapter name is Wonderful Krishna, entitled by Srila Prabhupada. So, we are continuing from text 14. So, the Vrajavasis have come to Nanda Maharaj and they are expressing their amazement in seeing the wonderful activities of Krishna. I would like to read some portion from the Krishna book also. In the beginning of the chapter, Srila Prabhupada writes, without understanding the intricacies of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and without knowing his uncommon spiritual opulences, the innocent cowherd boys and men of Vrindavan began to discuss his wonderful activities, which surpassed the activities of all men. Because they were just asking out of spontaneous love to Nanda Maharaj. Now, in text 14, previously we saw in text 13 that the Vrajavasis were expressing to Nanda Maharaj that how is it that we and all other residents of Vraja cannot give up our constant affection for your son? And how is it that he is so spontaneously attracted to us? They are not able to understand how Krishna, how they were just spontaneously attracted to Krishna. And text 14 today, they are now starting to express the wonderful activities that Krishna had performed in Vrindavan. On the one hand, this boy is only 7 years old. On the other hand, we see him lift the great hill Govardhan. Therefore, O King of Vraja, Nanda Maharaj, a doubt about your son arises within us. Srila Prabhupada writes in Krishna book that they are expressing, O Nanda Maharaj, we are now in great doubt. Your son Krishna must be one of the demigods. He is not an ordinary boy. Maybe he is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they are beginning to have doubts about the wonderful activities that Krishna is performing. They don't know what kind of personality he is. In text 15, because there are no purports, I am reading from Krishna book wherever there is no purports. My dear friends, Nanda Maharaj is responding. In reply to you, I can simply present the statement of Gargamuni so that your doubts may be cleared. When he came to perform the name-giving ceremony, he said that this boy descends in different periods of time in different colors, and that this time he has appeared in Vrindavan in blackish color known as Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is writing. Previously he had a white color, then red color, then yellow color. He also said that this boy was once the son of Vasudev, and everyone who knows his previous birth calls him Vasudev. We are seeing series of verses Srila Prabhupada is combining. So I like to switch back because in the purports, the humble disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they are quoting Srila Prabhupada's purports in the previous chapters of the 10th canto. So Srila Prabhupada writes to the similar verse when actually Gargamuni spoke to Sri Nanda Maharaj about Krishna appearing in different millenniums in different colors. Srila Prabhupada is quoting our Acharyas in Canto 10, text 8, chapter 8, text 13. It may be noted that Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krama Sandarbha has enunciated that purport of this verse. In every millennium, Krishna appears in different form, in different colors, white, red and yellow. But this time, he personally appeared in his original blackish form and as predicted by Gargamuni, exhibited the power of Narayana. Because in this form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead exhibits himself fully. His name is Krishna, the all-attractive. Many times you have heard from Srila Prabhupada, right? Krishna means all-attractive. And this is where Srila Prabhupada, she is quoting directly from the Acharyas. Krishna means he is all-attractive because he exhibits all opulences in full. Factually, Krishna is the source of all avatars. And therefore, all different features of all different avatars are present in Krishna. Even when Krishna is killing demons, our Acharyas explained that because all the avatars exist within Krishna, Krishna kills the demons. When Krishna incarnates, all the features of all the incarnations are already present within him. Other incarnations are partial representations of Krishna, whose full-fledged incarnation of the Supreme Being. It is understood that the Supreme Being, whether appearing in white, red, yellow, that is Shukla, Rakta and Pita, is the same person. Even though Krishna expands in other features, it is still the same person. When he appears in different incarnations, he appears in different colors. Just like the sunshine which obtains 7 colors. Sometimes the colors of sunshine are represented separately, otherwise the sunshine is observed mainly as bright light. The different avatars such as Manvantra, Leela, Dasha avatars are all included in Krishna avatar. Everything is included in Krishna avatar. Srila Prabhupada is explaining. And now Srila Prabhupada is giving about the color of yellow, the significance of yellow color. Srila Prabhupada is quoting the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Describes the incarnation of each yuga in chronological order. The Bhagavatam says, Krite Shukla Chatur Bahu Tretayam Rakta Varnosau Dwapare Bhagavan Shama Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam. We actually see that in Kali Yuga, Srila Prabhupada is explaining, Bhagavan has appeared in Pita Varna or yellow color as Gaura Sundar. Although the Bhagavatam speaks of Krishna Varnam. To adjust all these statements, one should understand that although in some yugas some of the colors are prominent, in every yuga, whenever Krishna appears, all the colors are present. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears without Krishna or a blackish color, he is understood to be Krishna himself. Idanim Krishnatam Gataha. The same original Krishna who appears in different varnas has now appeared. Right? We hear from the great bhajans of our acharyas also that Vrajendra Nandana say Shachi Sutta Hoilo say Balaram Hoilo Nitai. Right? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Sakshat Vrajendra Nandan Krishna. The word Asan indicates that he is always present. Whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in his full feature, he is understood to be Krishna Varnam. Although he appears in different colors. And Srila Prabhupada also quotes Sri Prahlad Maharaj from the 7th Canto. Sri Prahlad Maharaj also says Channa Kalau. When he is speaking, Sri Prahlad Maharaj mentions this in the 7th Canto, 5th chapter. That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Channa. He is not explicitly mentioned in the Shastra. He is covered incarnation. Although he is Krishna, he is yellow color. He is covered because Krishna wanted to come and descend. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita explains in Adi Leela that Mahaprabhu or Krishna wanted to come in the form of a devotee to spread external reasons, to spread the glories of holy name. External reasons. And there are many internal reasons also, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita explains. So Krishna came in the garb of a devotee. And that is the reason why the Shastra doesn't explicitly mention. Sri Prahlad Maharaj is saying in Kali Yuga, because the same incident happens in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya challenges Sri Gopinath Acharya that according to the Shastra, Supreme Lord appears only in 3 yugas. He never appears in Kali Yuga. But then our Acharya's quote, Sri Prahlad Maharaj says, yes, he is 3 yuga, but in Kalau, Channa Kalau, he is covered in Kali Yuga. Not explicitly mentioned. That is what Srila Prabhupada is quoting here. Although he is Krishna, he is Channa. He is covered by a yellow color. Thus the Gaudiya Vaishnavas accept the conclusion that although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Pita color, he is Krishna. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajnair Sankirtana Prayair Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha. And now, moving forward, Nanda Maharaj is continuing. Actually, he said that my son has many varieties of names according to different qualities and activities. Gargacharya assured me that this boy would be all auspicious for my family and that he would be able to give transcendental blissful pleasure to all the cowherdmen and cows in Vrindavan. Nanda Maharaj is remembering all these activities. Even though we would be put in various kinds of difficulties, by the grace of this boy, we would be very easily freed from them. For us to meditate upon, Srila Prabhupada is saying, by the grace of Krishna, we would be very easily freed from all difficulties. Right? Om appavitra pavitro va sarvavastam gatopi va yasmaret pundarikaksham sa abhayam bhyantara shuchi. That within and without, if you remember Krishna, my Guru Maharaj always quotes this in many of his classes. If we try to remember Krishna during our difficult times, by Krishna's grace, those difficulties are vanquished by Krishna's grace. We also said that formally this boy saved the world from unregulated condition and he saved all honest men from the hands of honest thieves. He also said that any fortunate man who becomes attached to Krishna is never vanquished or defeated by his enemy. Again, something for us to... so we have so many difficulties within and without. Within our own mind and consciousness and without outside also. But somehow or the other, if we try to remember Krishna, specifically by chanting the holy names, if we try to remember Krishna, then here Bhagavatam and our acharyas are commenting that all the enemies are defeated and vanquished. On the whole, he is exactly like Lord Vishnu, who takes the side of demigods, who are consequently never defeated by the demons. And Shila, and in text 22, another purport that we are going back and we are referring back to another purport in the 8th chapter. Here it is mentioned that in conclusion, therefore, O Nanda Maharaj, this child of yours is as good as Narayana in his transcendental qualities, opulence, name, fame, and influence. He is exactly like Narayana. You should all raise this child very carefully and cautiously. Srila Prabhupada writes a very, very, very amazing purport to this. Because when we directly read the translation, it appears that Sri Gargamuni is saying that he is exactly like Narayana. But now Srila Prabhupada gives different purports for this. One who equates Narayana even with great exalted demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma is agnostic. No one can equal Narayana. Nonetheless, Gargamuni uses the word Shama, meaning equal, because he wanted to treat Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead who had become Nanda Maharaja's son. Now, Srila Prabhupada begins an interesting point of realization that he is quoting. Gargamuni wanted to impress upon the mind of Nanda Maharaj your worshipable deity Narayana, because Sri Nanda Maharaj is worshipping Narayana at home, is so pleased with you that he has sent you a son almost equal to him in qualifications. Therefore, you may designate your son with a similar name such as Mukunda, Madhusudana, but you must always remember that whenever you want to do something very good, there will be hindrances. Like we see, so many hindrances happened wherever the Vrajavasis were going. Therefore, you should raise and protect this child with great care. If you protect this child very cautiously, as Narayana always protects you, the child will be as good as Narayana. It's amazing. Prabhupada is giving a brilliant purport to why he is as good as Narayana. Because for the Vrajavasis, they don't consider Krishna to be Narayana. Here, Srila Prabhupada is saying that because you worship Narayana, Lord Narayana has blessed you a son who is as good as Narayana. So you should protect them very carefully. So that's why we see the Vrajavasis, including Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mata, they were not seeing Krishna as Narayana. They were profusely loving Krishna and protecting him. If you protect this child very cautiously as Narayana always protects you, so they were giving so much protection to Krishna, the child will be as good as Narayana. Gargamuni also indicated that although the child was exaltedly qualified like Narayana, he would enjoy more than Narayana. And then it is mentioned that Gargacharya thus concluded that my child would grow to be exactly like Lord Vishnu in transcendental beauty, qualifications, activities, influence and opulence. And so we should not be very astonished by his wonderful activities, Srila Prabhupada stating. And now, in the end, in text 24, having heard Nanda Maharaj relate the statements of Gargamuni, the residents of Vrindavan became enlivened. Their perplexity was gone, and they worshipped Nanda and Lord Krishna with great respect. And now, this is the effect of hearing from a pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada quotes in the 7th Canto, 8th chapter, first verse. Very famous verse. Many of us might have heard this many times in many classes of Srila Prabhupada and many of our Guru Varga. Satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana kata. If one tries to understand the discourses given by Sat, from whom we should hear about Krishna? From pure devotees. Those instructions, what will be the effect? Those instructions will be very pleasing to the ear. Because the pure devotees carry Krishna within their heart, always. And they are always speaking to please Krishna. So because of that, when we hear from such pure devotees who have absolutely no contamination in their heart, and they are simply wanting to please Krishna always. It is very pleasing to our ears also, and it pleases our heart also, because the sound vibration is completely pure. Thus, if one is inspired to take to Krishna consciousness, and if one practices the process in his life, he is surely successful in returning home back to Godhead. And here Prabhupada is giving the example of Prahlad Maharaj, because the class friends of Prahlad Maharaj heard from a pure devotee like Mahabhagavat, like Prahlad Maharaj, they got transformed. And that is exactly what happened here, even to the Vrajavasis. In text 24 it is said, their perplexity was gone because they heard from Nanda Maharaj. And to the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the humble disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they write, Srila Jiva Goswami explains that in this verse, Anarchu indicates that the residents of Vrindavan honored Nanda and Krishna with such offerings. What all they gave? After their perplexity was gone, they started giving everything that they had. Fragrances, garlands, garments brought from their homes. Then Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur adds, the residents of Vrindavan honored Nanda and Krishna with loving offerings. What all they gave? Jewels and gold coins. Apparently, when this particular discussion between Nanda Maharaj and the Vrajavasis was going on, Krishna was not there at home. He was playing in the forest. So when he returned home, the residents of Vrindavan encouraged him by decorating him with beautiful garments, yellow garments, necklaces, armlets, earrings, crowns, and by shouting, all glories to the jewel of Vrindavan. The Vrajavasis simply loved Krishna. Whatever they had, they wanted to please Krishna. Use that in pleasing Krishna. In the last verse, it is mentioned, the summary of the entire Govardhan pastime is given in the last verse. Indra became very angry when his sacrifice was disrupted, and thus he caused rain and hail to fall on Gokul, accompanied by lightning and powerful winds, all of which brought great suffering to the cowherd animals and women there. When Lord Krishna, who is by nature always compassionate, saw the condition of those who had only him as their shelter, he smiled broadly and lifted Govardhan hill with one hand, just as a small child picks up a mushroom to play with it. Translation states. In the purport it is mentioned, Indra also means Lord or King. Thus in this verse, Krishna is called Indro Gavam, the Lord of the cows. Another meaning of Indra. In fact, he is the real Indra, the real ruler of everyone, and the demigods are merely his servants. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasabha Bhritya. We are all servants of Krishna eternally, representing his supreme will. It is apparent from this and the previous verse in this chapter that Lord Krishna's lifting Govardhan hill made quite an impression on the simple cowherd men of Vrindavan. Our Acharyas explained, by Krishna lifting this Govardhan hill, Krishna manifested so many pastimes within one pastime. He had loving reciprocation with so many devotees during this one single pastime. But here our Acharyas are commenting that Krishna made a big impression on the cowherd men of Vrindavan, and they repeatedly remember this great feat of Krishna lifting Govardhan hill just like a child picks up a mushroom. Certainly, anyone who what is the falashruti of hearing Govardhan pastime? Anyone who soberly and objectively considers the activities of young Krishna will surrender to Krishna and become his eternal devotee in loving devotional service. That is the rational conclusion one should come to after reading this chapter. Thus ends the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravindha Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, to the 10th Canto, 26th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Wonderful Krishna. So this is the falashruti that is given. That in the translation says, may he, Govinda, Krishna of Vrindavan, the Lord of the cows and the destroyer of Indra's false pride, be pleased with us. Let Krishna be pleased with us. And we will stop here. Thank you, Sundarananda Prabhuji, for giving us an opportunity to study Srimad Bhagavatam. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Prabhu.
you.
So
Yeah.
well said.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Om Shivadin Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you all the devotees for joining also.
Hare Krishna. Kripa Sindhu Bhai Vacha Patitana